If you clicked on this YouTube video, chances are you're like me. You think Pokemon Emerald is the best Pokemon game in the series. But then there's the other half of you who are probably ready to rip my head off in the comment section because what I am saying is heresy to the Pokemon community. But guess what? Everybody has opinions. My opinions are right and yours are wrong. Let's see what you guys can say in the comments. A little bit of background. Pokemon Emerald was not my first Pokemon game, just to let you guys know. I know some people might say like, well, you just got that first game experience and it's got to be your favorite. It wasn't. I started in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl in 2007. It was a great game, but it did not even come close to Pokemon Emerald. This game was amazing. Actually, I still have my original one right here. I want to show this off, by the way. That's my original Pokemon Emerald. Still has the dirty inside. Look, it's all dirty. It's a little dirty. There's some crumbs inside. But anyways, enough with the grossness. Man, I don't know exactly why I loved it as a kid. I don't know why, but I knew that it was a great game. And it wasn't until later why it became clear on the reason the game was so good. All I knew was the game was superior than every other Pokemon game. And here's why. The graphics mixed with the scenery of the towns and the routes made the game beautiful. Now I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, well, if you talk about the original Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire, it was all pixelated. Yes, it was. But you can still get a feel for the beauty of the game. The game did what most games nowadays can't do, which made you feel like you were actually in the game, like you were the trainer in the game. That is magical. You don't get that nowadays. The second big factor on why Pokemon Emerald was so good was just because the Gen 3 Pokemon were such a cool design. And I'm not just saying that as in like a few, I'm talking like all of them. You guys can't argue this. The Pokemon Emerald design, or the Gen 3 design, was superior than every other game. Now I guess I get what you guys are gonna say. You guys are gonna be like, well, you know, T-Tar wasn't Gen 3. Lugia wasn't Gen. No, you're right. There's probably better Pokemon out there, but in a whole, Gen 3 Pokemon were a superior design. It looked like every Pokemon had some sort of thought and care put into them. I know there's Pokemon out there, you know, a few of you might say they're just, you know, copies of Pikachu. You're right, but they still had that care put into it, and it is what it is. It's better than what we got nowadays, right? Like Trubbish, a literal trash Pokemon. He's literally a trash bag. Come on, you guys know what I'm saying. If there is a Pokemon you guys don't like, again, I'll be waiting in the comments to hear it. I really don't think there is any bad Pokemon. I could look up a Pokédex right now, and I couldn't tell you a single bad one. Going on to the final reason, the story, man. There is so much in the story. I'm not even just talking about like the storyline. I'm talking about how much content was actually put into the story itself. Besides the story itself, you got like the Reggies having their own little puzzles, having to find the Relicanth and having to get the Whale Lord, put them in your team correct. There was a lot to it, right? It just gives you so many hours of gameplay. Not only that, but like even like the spaceship to go get Jirachi, even before we knew that was all you know, not really true, or it is. I don't know. People still to this day can't make up their minds and get on the same page. I've never done it. I don't really know. But just the fact that that was in the game was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. But there was still one other thing, the Mirage Island, that I've never been to. That's on like my bucket list that like corresponded with the code of certain games, and only select few people could actually make it to Mirage Island. That was just full of Wynots and certain berries that you couldn't get anywhere else. There was just endless content to keep you entertained and hopeful, you know? So it's like, I don't know. It is just such a great game. That was my first one playing, if that makes sense, right? Like it was the first Pokemon game that was filled with content that I ever played, right? This game itself actually got me into Pokemon. Diamond and Pearl was cool, and I grinded it and I played a lot of it, but it wasn't until Emerald where I started trying to play the older games and fell in love with the old generation of games. Then made me move on to Soul Silver and Heart Gold. So it's like without Emerald, I probably wouldn't be as big of a fan as I am today, and it's all thanks to this one game right here, the single game. And in my opinion, it was the best Pokemon game to ever exist. It was magical. I hope we get more like this soon. Maybe it was just a nostalgia. I hope it wasn't, but I love that game, man. But anyways, till next time, guys.